Hey there, everyone. Arguing Semantics here. Just wanted to go over the Oscar nominations which came out recently. Feel like that would be a good thing to go over. There were some odd choices this time around, as there have been in the last few years. So yeah, we'll just go through them category by category, and I'll give my opinions and who I think will win, or who I think will win, and who I think should win. Um, so we'll just go from the Oscar site and go through the categories as they have them up here. So let's see. So first off, we have actor in a leading role, which is Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch, Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield, Tick Tick Boom, Will Smith, King Richard, and Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. That is an interesting list. I haven't seen most of these movies, unfortunately, so I'll probably have to do an addendum after I go through and actually watch more of the movies that are on the list in general. I've seen most of the Best Picture nominees, but a lot of the other categories have a lot of movies I haven't seen. So, like, I haven't seen Being the Ricardos. I've heard it was not great, but I have heard the performances are good. Haven't seen Power of the Dog yet. It's on the list. Probably going to watch that in the next couple of days. Um, didn't get to see The Tragedy of Macbeth, but I've heard very, very good things. I have seen Tick Tick Boom. I have not seen King Richard. What I have seen of all of these, though, I don't think it's going to go to Javier Bardem. I don't think it's going to go to Will Smith. I've heard very good things about Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog. Andrew Garfield was fantastic in Tick Tick Boom, and Denzel Washington is always good. Of these, I feel like it's going to go to Benedict Cumberbatch or Denzel Washington just purely on instinct. And it would be really nice to see Denzel Washington finally get an actual Best Acting award, Best Actor, not but just Best Supporting. So hopefully we'll see that soon. For actor in a supporting role, once again, haven't seen any of these movies, but we have Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Kotzer for Coda, Jesse Plemons for The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons in Being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith McPhee in The Power of the Dog. From what I have heard so far, having not seen him, Cody Smith McPhee seems to be the front runner, which is interesting. Seeing somebody who went from being a child actor and has now become a very good adult actor as well and is still getting work is always nice to see. Um, but yeah, from what I've heard, it could go to literally any of these. I'm gonna try to see Belfast soon. Coda's on the list. Power of the Dog we should be watching soon. I think the only one I might not end up seeing is Being the Ricardos because in a lot of ways I just don't care. But yeah, we'll see. Um, Best Actress in a Leading Role. Now this one's gonna be interesting because it's Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman, The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz, Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman, Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer. Uh, Once again, haven't seen any of these movies yet. Parallel Mothers is on the list. I have heard very good things about Penelope Cruz's performance. Olivia Colman already has her Oscar, so I don't think she needs it, but I have heard her performance was great in that. My problem is the next three are where I'm kind of nervous because those are all performances that are transformational, and I have a problem with transformational versus emotional acting. A lot of actors get more prestige for doing a character where they transform into the person physically over their actual performance. Probably my favorite example of someone getting robbed was Michael Keaton should have won for Birdman, and instead it went to um, I forget what his name is, but right now, but the theory of but one for playing Stephen Hawking in the Theory of Everything, which was a good performance, wasn't amazing. It's just he crumpled in a chair. He crumpled in that chair very very well, but like he did not deserve it. It should have gone to Michael Keaton. So having not seen any of these yet, though, it could go to anything. I have heard some strong pull for Kristen Stewart in Spencer. Um, I've always had a love hate relationship with Kristen Stewart. When she is in the right role, she is fantastic. The problem is she gets a lot of roles that she is not suited for. If she is playing a in a low key drama, she is fantastic. She is subtle. She is excellent. The problem is she does action movies or teen dramas or comedies, and she just comes off as wooden and underacting. and just feels completely out of space with the rest of the cast. The closest she got was in Happiest Season last year, which was a fun movie, but she still felt a little out of place in that. So, but yeah, I would guess from what I've been hearing, Kristen Stewart for Spencer, but I can't tell without having seen those yet. And then actress in a supporting role: Jessie Buckley, Lost Daughter; Ariana DeBose, West Side Story; Judi Dench in Belfast; Kirsten Dunst, Power of the Dog; and Anjanou Ellis for King Richard. This is another one that could probably go to any of them except for Ariana DeBose. I don't think she should even be on this list. Like, I really, really liked the new West Side Story. For people who saw my review, I really, really loved it. She was it's next to, as far as just flat out acting, I thought she was the weakest of the main cast. And no one else got acting nominations. While I didn't care as much for Ansel Elgort as a singer and a dancer, I did like his acting performance. And I would argue that the next three were all better than their original versions. The standout being Mike Faist, who somehow is not nominated. But from what I've heard, most of these in the actor in a supporting role are all incredible, so I can't be too mad at it, but it's just like, he should be in there and she should not be here. Could go to any of the rest. I've heard really good things about Kirsten Dunst in Power of the Dog. King Richard, I'm not sure. I've heard kind of mixed things about that movie, so I'm curious to see it now. But yeah, could go to any of those. Finally, one I can have an opinion on, though, is animated feature film. We have Encanto, Flea, Luca, Mitchell's vs. the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. So this is going to be interesting. I don't think it will go to Luca, and I don't think it'll go, and it definitely won't go to Raya and the Last Dragon. Raya and the Last Dragon was fun, but it wasn't great. Luca was a little bit closer. I feel like Encanto is the crowd pleaser, so if it's going to go to one of the big studio movies, it's going to go to that. Mitchell's and the Machine, I feel like, is the outlier. That movie is so much fun. It does a lot with animation style that you saw in stuff like Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. That animation people would definitely jump on, because if you didn't know, in the Oscars, you are only allowed to vote on the categories are only voted on people who are in those categories. So animated feature film is only voted on by people in the Academy who actually, I don't know that. Never mind. That's the nominations. I got that wrong. Nominations are voted on by the people in those categories. So animators and animation directors vote on what should be in it. And then I think the whole Academy votes on the whole list. But yeah, so Mitchell and the Machines, I think, is the outlier. Flea would be the bold choice because it's a documentary that was animated. I'm really interested to see that. I'm hopefully going to see that soon. But yeah, I think Encanto, I think, is the safe bet. Mitchell's and the Machine is the outlier, and Flea would be the prestige vote. So we'll see. The prestige vote in animated usually doesn't win. Cinematography. Here's another one that's going to be really, really tough and really interesting to see what wins here, because all of these are very good. Dune, incredible. Nightmare Alley, a weird movie, but it does have really good cinematography. We just watched it last night. It is, yeah, it's a bit long, or it's really long, and it's kind of meandering. It definitely feels like, well, I won an Oscar, I can do whatever I want with this one, kind of a thing. So Guillermo del Toro just made a movie he felt like making, and it does feel like it is a self-indulgent passion project, but I did enjoy it for what it was. Once we figured out what the movie is, because it feels like it's going to be one thing, and then it just kind of keeps going. It never really settles on a single plot or conflict. It's more of just following this character as he goes through his thing. But yeah, Nightmare Alley was beautiful. Power of the Dog, what I've been seeing, is really good. But I feel like other movies have a little bit more panache when it comes to that. Tragedy of Macbeth, I've heard good things about. And West Side Story it's incredible for film nerds, because the way they shot it and the way they used film grain and the way they used their compositions and how they shot and then the lighting and all of that is very much designed to feel like the original West Side Story while updating the the behind the scene techniques or the other techniques like angling, dolly shots, things like that. So I I want to say this is going to go to West Side Story, but I feel like Tragedy of Macbeth and Dune could both easily take that. Costume design is going to be tough. So all of these movies are incredible for costuming. Cruella, Cyrano, Dune, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. Nightmare Alley's costuming is great in that it's very much we're doing a 1940s story and we're going Art Deco and the carnival stuff. It's all perfectly done, at least from a layman's point of view. Cyrano, similar thing. West Side Story, similar thing. Dune and Cruella are the two that really stand out to me. My head wants to say it's going to go to Dune. The as a fan of the books, the costuming and how they designed that is fantastic, but my heart wants to go with Cruella. That movie's costume design is just so much fun, and I feel like it should probably go to that instead. Directing, another one that's going to be tough. Belfast, Kenneth Branagh. Drive My Car, Raisuke Hamaguchi. Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson. Power of the Dog, James Campion. And West Side Story, Steven Spielberg. I could see Spielberg getting another one for this. I don't think it's going to go to Licorice Pizza. Finally saw that one too. Interesting movie, fun movie, weird movie. Especially because part of the big thing with this movie is that it's an age gap romance. Like, she's 25 and he's 15. And it was interesting to watch how that kind of played out, but it also feels weird if you think about that happening from the other way around. It definitely would come off different. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. I don't know exactly how I feel about Licorice Pizza other than I enjoyed the movie while I was watching it. Haven't seen Drive My Car, heard good things. Haven't seen Belfast, haven't seen Power of the Dog, but I have heard good things about all of those. Belfast, from the trailers, looks like it's going for very, very old school classic filmmaking techniques, so that could also win, just so the Academy can jerk itself off a little. But I would say my guess is probably going to go to I want to say Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. That movie was very well directed, but I think Kenneth Branagh is the outside choice. Documentary, haven't seen any of these yet. Ascension, Attica, Flea, Summer of Soul, Riding with Fire. Could go to any of them. Just guessing because Flea is nominated in so many other places, Flea will probably take it. Documentary, short subject. Audible, Lead Me Home, Queen of Basketball, 3 songs for Benazir, and When We Were Bullies. Haven't seen any of these, couldn't tell you exactly. Definitely going to try to see a lot of this stuff before the actual Oscars, though. Film editing. Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, Power of the Dog, and Tick Tick Boom. This one's going to be tough. I feel... This is the one where I think Don't Look Up could take it. I feel like Don't Look Up shouldn't be here in most of the categories that it shows up in, but the film editing in that was breakneck and interesting as a storytelling device, and worked incredibly well. Even if the movie on the whole was flawed, it's definitely. We'll get to that when we get to Best Picture, but I'll get to that when we get to Best Picture. But I want to say Don't Look Up. I would guess Dune is probably the outside pick there. The editing in that movie was really good. International feature film. Drive My Car, Flea, Hand of God, Lucana, A Yak in the Classroom, and Worst Person in the World. I haven't heard of The Hand of God or Lunana, but I know Drive My Car is supposed to be good. Flea, once again, just because it's nominated in so many other categories, I feel like Flea is the strong choice. It could also be Drive My Car. But I have heard very good things of The Worst Person in the World, but just because it's not nominated anywhere else, I don't feel like it's going to take it. Another very tough category. Coming to America, for makeup and hairstyling, Coming to America, Cruella, Dune, Eyes of Tammy Faye, House of Gucci. I don't think it's going to be House of Gucci, though I do like what they did with that one as far as making the characters look like themselves without totally going full prosthetics like Eyes of Tammy Faye did. That one almost got into Uncanny Valley territory. I do like what they did with making all the characters look more like the people they were portraying. I feel like that could get it. But I loved Dune's whole art direction, and I really loved Cruella's. Once again, my head wants to say Dune, but I think it should go to Cruella. But at the same time, I think Eyes of Tammy Faye's prosthetics will. I think Eyes of Tammy Faye's prosthetics will take it, but I think it should be Dune or Cruella. Music. Don't Look Up, Dune, Encanto, Parallel Mothers, Power of the Dog. I think this could go to quite a few of these. I haven't seen Power of the Dog or Parallel Mothers, but I've heard a little bit of those soundtracks, and they're pretty normal. They're good, but I don't think that'll be it. Encanto is the safe choice because it's a musical. I feel like Encanto's music is actually one of the weaker ones that Disney has done in a while, so I don't think it should go to that. Dune's music is really, really good, but it just feels like another Hans Zimmer score, which I mean, Hans Zimmer is fantastic, but his scores tend to sound a little samey, but it is good, and I feel like that's a good choice. Don't Look Up also had an interesting soundtrack, but I feel like it's going to go to Encanto. I feel like Encanto is the safe choice. Original song, Be Alive from King Richard, Das Oruguitas from Encanto, Down to Joy from Belfast, No Time to Die from No Time to Die, and Somehow You Do from Four Good Days. I don't know what the last one is. No Time to Die was fine. I don't think it'll take it. It just feels like a lesser version of Skyfall. Down to Joy I haven't heard yet. Das Oruguitas is great. Be Alive from King Richard. I haven't heard Be Alive from King Richard either. But if I had to guess, it's going to be Das Oruguitas once again, because Encanto, because it's a movie about music, it's more likely to get the award. But the only one that outright I can say won't get it is No Time to Die. It's not that good a song. It's a good song, but it just, like I said, I've heard better. And now we're into the big one, the one where it's like where there are some really choices in here. We have Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. The only one I can say for sure does not belong on here at all is Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up does not deserve to be on this list in any way. It was I enjoyed it for sure. Like, I like what it was trying to do, but it definitely felt like, and the main reason it's on this list that always makes me laugh is it's very much a movie that rich white Hollywood liberals can watch and go, look how amazing we are for supporting the right side. And even though if you actually break it down, they would be on the spaceship at the end. They wouldn't be the noble people who are staying behind and facing their imminent demise. So, yeah. Also, I've heard behind the scenes, Adam McKay is incredibly personable and very charismatic, so he probably just works the system really good. But I think he'll win eventually at some point. The problem is he probably should have won for The Big Short, which was the biggest, for me, the biggest Best Picture snub ever. Should not have gone to, was it Greenlight? Spotlight. Ugh. It went to Spotlight that year, which was good but not amazing. I don't even think it should have been on that list. But The Big Short is incredible. That is an amazingly well directed movie and was a really, really good movie that told complex topics in a way that was very approachable and also recognized the problems you sometimes have with adapting stories, and actually told you some of the things they changed for dramatic. But it was great. So I don't think this will be it. Coda looks amazing. Belfast looks amazing. Drive My Car is supposed to be good. I loved Dune. Dune could be the outside winner on this one, but I feel like it's too much of a part one. I feel like this is going to wait until the end of the Dune thing. Apparently they're going to do all the rest of the story in part two, which I don't even know how. The first movie is only like the first 2/5 of the book. So yeah, we'll see. I feel like that's going to be one that's going to win at the end, that could win at the end if they pull it off, Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. King Richard, I don't think he'll get it. Licorice Pizza won't get it. Nightmare Alley is the other one where I'm like, I don't know if this deserves to be on here, but I did like it a lot, and I see why they chose it. But it is not it's more of a character study than it is a plot driven movie, and that's kind of the problem, is the plot just kind of goes all over the place. But it is hyper focused on one character and their journey through it. But yeah, we'll see. And then there's Power of the Dog. I've heard good things. That could be an outside winner. And West Side Story, I don't think will win. I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it'll win. And then the big snubs for me is You All Slept On 9 Days, and that movie was incredible. I highly recommend that to anybody to see it. I think that should be on this list. But the only other one that people are really getting up in arms about is another movie that I don't think deserves to be on this list at all, and that is Spider-Man No Way Home. It's getting a lot of press where it should be on there because it's like the most popular movie of the year, but that movie had some serious flaws. It was based almost entirely on nostalgia and retelling the same story that they've been telling over and over and over again. And the actual like cinematography and sound design were all very straightforward and basic. There weren't a lot of like really special things about that movie. That was a movie made for fans. It wasn't a movie made for anyone else. Which is okay. It was a great movie made for fans, but it does not deserve to be on this list. Almost anybody who's saying that Spider-Man No Way Home deserves to be on this list haven't seen probably any of the other movies on this list. So anyway, moving on. I got a message. I have to check that later. Should probably turn down my ringer. Okay. Now we're on to production design. This is another tough one. Dune, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, Tragedy of Macbeth, West Side Story. This is the one where I'm like full on. That's gonna go to Dune. The whole design of that movie and how they adapted everything is just 100%. That's Dune. It's gonna go to Dune. I feel like Power of the Dog might be the outlier, or West Side Story, but this is the one that I'm strongest on. It's going to go to Dune. Also, I don't think I said my choice for Best Picture. Yeah, I feel like it's going to go to. I don't think it's going to go to West Side Story. From what I've been hearing, it's probably going to go to Power of the Dog or Dune, or it's like or Power of the Dog or Belfast. But I feel like Dune is my personal choice that I feel like should take it out of that list. But I feel like it's not going to win until we get a couple more, another or two more Dune movies under our belt. Short film, animated, haven't seen any of these. Affairs of the Art, Bestia, Box Ballet, Robin Robin, and The Windshield Wiper. Haven't seen any of those, don't have an opinion. Short film, Alakachu, Take and Run, The Dress, The Long Goodbye, On My Mind to Please Hold. Haven't seen any of those, don't have an opinion. This one, as a nerd, kind of disappoints me a little. They combined sound mixing and sound design into a single category as sound, which makes me mad because those are two very different things, and just putting them into one feels weird to me personally. But yeah, whatever. This one's another one that's going to go to Dune. The sound design in Dune is so great. There's so much going on in the mix there that. Yeah, if that doesn't win, I will be surprised. I think West Side Story is the outlier, and the extra outlier would probably be No Time to Die. But I think that one's going to go to Dune. Visual effects. Also feel like this one should go to Dune. It's Dune, Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man No Way Home. As I said before, the Marvel stuff, like they have good special effects, but they're not like amazing. They're not super integrated into everything as well. It's very clear what is a visual effect and what isn't. The visual effects in Dune are absolutely incredible, and Free Guy is designed to look fake, so the things interacting with it were also great. I feel like it could go to those two. But Dune is definitely my choice there as well. Technically, that movie is just phenomenal. I feel like Free Guy is the outlier, but I would also be happy if that won. Free Guy is a super underrated little movie. It's not amazing. It's just very, 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 very good. It tells its story. It gets in, tells its story. You have to make the big thing against it is you have to suspend your disbelief for a few things in how video games work, but it was good. But yeah, Dune's my choice there. Writing, adapted screenplay, Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, and Power of the Dog. I feel like this one's going to go to Dune, but that's also not having seen any of the other ones. So Dune is my choice, but we'll see after I've watched a few more. I'll probably do another one updating my choices once I've seen more of these. And then writing original screenplay to wrap it up. We've got Belfast, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, and Worst Person in the World. Yeah, this one I have no idea because I feel like Dune's general screenplay was good, so I think it could win. But yeah, I don't think it's going to go to Licorice Pizza. Licorice Pizza was interesting, but I don't think it deserves any awards. But yeah, I don't think it's going to go to King Richard. It could go to Belfast, having not seen that, and it could go to Worst Person in the World. Like I said, I've heard really good things about The Worst Person in the World. So if I had to make an outside pick, it's probably going to be Don't Look Up. But yeah, I don't think it should. Anyway, so that was me going through the whole list of the Oscar nominations. For anybody who actually made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. I'll try to do an update at some point of my feelings once I've seen a few more of these movies, but these are just to go over some of these and some of the weird snubs. Like a lot of people were surprised The Last Duel wasn't on there, but it does kind of make me happy that it wasn't after Ridley Scott basically came out and blamed millennials for the movie not doing well, and then it turns out the Academy didn't like it either. So it's like, maybe the problem is you. There was all the pushes for Spider-Man No Way Home to win more awards or to get more nominations, but I don't think it deserved it. I feel like Tick, Tick, Boom could have gotten a couple more. 9 Days is my big one that should have been in like every category and just was completely overlooked this year, and it makes me sad. But yeah, there are a few other snubs, but none of them reached the level of being like super disappointed by them not getting in. So anyway, that being said, I'm James. This has been Arguing Semantics. Come see some more of my videos later.